In today's video, we're going to take a look at the MV-22 Marine One, the $80 million presidential helicopter. Keep watching until the end of the video to find out why the president isn't allowed to fly in this aircraft. With that being said, let's get into the video. The MV-22 Osprey is a multi-mission tiltrotor military aircraft from the United States that is capable of both vertical takeoff and landing, or VTOL, and short takeoff and landing, or STOL. The Osprey was designed to be a medium lift replacement for the CH-46E Sea Knight assault support helicopter. The Osprey can operate as a helicopter or a turboprop aircraft and has twice the speed, 6 times the range, and 3 times the payload of the CH-46E. The failure of Operation Eagle Claw during the Iran hostage crisis in 1980 demonstrated that there were military roles that neither conventional helicopters nor fixed-wing transport aircraft were well suited for. So, in 1981, the United States Department of Defense, or DoD, launched a program to develop an innovative transport aircraft with long range, high speed, and vertical takeoff capabilities. The Joint Service Vertical Takeoff/Landing Experimental JVX program was officially launched. In lieu of this, the joint venture of Bell Helicopter and Boeing Helicopters was awarded a development contract for the V-22 tiltrotor aircraft in 1983. The V-22 first flew in 1989, kicking off flight testing and design changes. The complexity and difficulties of being the first tiltrotor for military service necessitated many years of development. The USMC began crew training for the MV-22B Osprey in 2000 and fielded it in 2007. It supplemented and then replaced the Boeing VTOL CH-46 Sea Knights. The CV-22B tiltrotor was introduced by the United States Air Force in 2009. The Osprey has been deployed in transportation and medevac operations over Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, and Kuwait since it entered service with the Marine Corps and Air Force. Beginning in 2021, the US Navy intends to use the CMV-22B for carrier onboard delivery duties. The plane has a 4-person crew, including a pilot, co-pilot, and 2 flight engineers, and it can transport up to 32 troops or 20,000 pounds of cargo. Because of its propensity for falling out of the sky, the Osprey earned the moniker Widowmaker during its initial flight testing and development phase. In the year 2000, 2 Osprey planes collided, killing the crew of one and 15 passengers of the other. Even with experienced test pilots at the controls, the aircraft was finicky and notoriously difficult to handle. The situation was made worse when the program's senior officer, Lieutenant Cole Odin Lieberman, was relieved of command after an internal investigation revealed that he had ordered his team to falsify records in order to make the Osprey appear safer than it was. The aircraft that began with a very troubled development phase has subsequently matured into the workhorse of the Marine Corps. The first V-22 was unveiled to the public in May of 1988. The US Army left the program that year, citing a need to focus on its budget and more immediate aviation programs. The V-22 then went on to survive 2 separate Senate votes in 1989 that could have resulted in its cancellation. Despite the Senate's decision, the Pentagon directed the Navy not to spend any more money on the V-22. As development costs soared in 1988, Defense Secretary Dick Cheney attempted to defund it from 1989 to 1992, but was overruled by Congress, which provided unrequested program funding. Several studies of alternatives concluded that the V-22 provided greater capability and effectiveness at comparable operating costs. The V-22 was supported by the Clinton administration, which aided in its funding. The V-22's production costs are significantly higher than for helicopters of comparable capability, specifically about twice as much for the CH-53E, which has a larger payload and can carry heavy equipment that the V-22 cannot. An Osprey unit costs around $73 million to produce, while a helicopter equivalent costs $35 million. The Pentagon formally approved full-rate production on September 28th of 2005, and production increased from 11 V-22s per year to between 24 and 48 V-22s per year by 2012. The USMC were to receive 360 of the 458 planned aircraft, the USAF to receive 50, and the Navy to receive 48, at a cost of $110 million per aircraft, including development costs. In 2008, the V-22 had an incremental flyaway cost of $67 million per aircraft. The Osprey has one 3-bladed prop rotor, a turboprop engine, and a transmission nacelle mounted on each wingtip. The Federal Aviation Administration classifies it as a powered lift aircraft. It typically operates as a helicopter for takeoff and landing, with the nacelles vertical and the rotors horizontal. Once in the air, the nacelles rotate forward 90 degrees in as little as 12 seconds for horizontal flight, transforming the V-22 into a more fuel-efficient, higher-speed turboprop aircraft. The nacelles can be tilted forward up to 45 degrees to enable STOL rolling takeoff and landing. Other orientations are possible as well. In terms of feel and speed, pilots compare the V-22 in aeroplane mode to the C-130. It has a ferry range of over 2,100 nautical miles and an operational range of 1,100. Composite materials make up 43% of the airframe, and composites are also used in the probe rotor plates. The V-22's rotors fold in 90 seconds for storage, and its wing rotates to align front to back with the fuselage. Because folding rotors are required, their 83-foot diameter is 5 feet less ideal for vertical takeoff, resulting in higher disc loading. Most missions use fixed wing flight 75% or more of the time, which reduces wear and tear, as well as operational costs. The altitude of this fixed wing flight is higher than that of typical helicopter missions, allowing for longer range line-of-sight communications or improved command and control. Because exhaust heat from the V-22's engines could potentially damage ships' flight decks and coatings, Navair devised a temporary solution of portable heat shields placed beneath the engines, and proposed that a long-term solution would require redesigning decks with heat-resistant coating, passive thermal barriers, and ship structure changes. In November of 2009, MV-22s were sent to Afghanistan with VNM-261. On December 4, 2009, it participated in its first offensive combat mission, Operation Cobra's Anger. More than 1,000 US Marines and 150 Afghan troops were inserted in Helmand Province's Nowzad Valley by V-22s to disrupt Taliban operations. According to General James Amos, Afghanistan's MV-22s have logged more than 100,000 hours of flight time and are the safest aeroplane, or at least close to the safest, in the USMC's inventory. Despite the drawdown of combat operations in Afghanistan, the V-22's Afghan deployment was extended for the purpose of evacuating casualties, as the V-22s are quicker than most helicopters and are equipped with medical equipment, such as heart monitors and triage supplies. This allows more casualties to reach a hospital within the golden hour. Another MV-22 was deployed to Haiti in January of 2010 as part of Operation Unified Response relief efforts following a devastating earthquake. The Kearsarge MV-22s also assisted in the rescue of an F-15E crew member during Operation Odyssey Dawn in March 2011. The body of Osama bin Laden, the founder of Al-Qaeda, was also flown to the Carl Vinson aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea during May 2011, following Operation Neptune Spear, before his burial at sea. If you made it this far in the video, we sincerely thank you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content we upload. Now, for why the reasons the President of the United States is not allowed to fly in the MV-22. Even though they're safer than the early models, the Osprey is still not safe enough for the President of the US to fly. While it hasn't yet been designated a white top, the presidential Osprey is currently undergoing additional reliability testing, and therefore the President of the United States cannot board. Furthermore, the MV-22s are not used to transport the President because they are not equipped for the mission and cannot land on the South Lawn. Instead, they are used to transport equipment and personnel supporting presidential movements, such as technicians and Secret Service teams. The Osprey has some very cool features, such as the ability to carry 32 troops on an internal vehicle, but safe and simple helicopter-like operation is not one of them. The Sea King, on the other hand, is as airworthy as a helicopter can be, which is why it's used by commercial heavy lifters, the Navy, the Coast Guard, and the Marines. It's used for search and rescue in open sea storms, which is one of the most demanding roles for a helicopter, and it has a pretty darn good safety record even in the event of catastrophic failures. Let us know what you think about this aircraft in the comment section. See you in the next video.